Well, welcome to Tech Tips, everyone. My name is Paul Landberg, and I'm a member of the training department here at Graco. With me today is Scott Svoboda. Scott is a technical information specialist in our contractor equipment division. Welcome, Scott.
Good morning.
Today's topic is my LineLazer style line striper will not display distance or the incorrect distance is displayed. So Scott, before we get started talking about the LineLazer that's having problems counting distance, what are some of the hazards that we should be aware of, and how do we mitigate those hazards?
Well, first thing, we need to worry about the engine having a hot muffler.
Okay.
We want to make sure we stay clear of that.
Okay.
We also have a fire and explosion hazard due to the gasoline fumes
Using
in the
gas.
engine.
Okay.
And we also want to be cautious of injection injury, so we want to relieve all pressure before working on the unit.
So follow the pressure relief procedure.
And then, of course, with a gasoline engine, we have carbon monoxide issues. So you want to use the unit in a well-ventilated area or have an exhaust system.
Okay.
The next step we would want to do is do a calibration of the distance sensor.
Okay.
And dependent upon the unit you have, you would find that in your manual.
So the screen looks a little bit different.
Between HP Autos and Standards, you're going to have different screens.
Okay.
So we would refer you to your manual.
Okay. So if we were talking about, in this case, the HP unit, tell me about that.
Well, we're going to start off with a tape measure on the pavement. Start off with our pointer at the 1 foot mark.
Okay.
We're going to want to travel 25 feet. So that'll end at the 26 foot mark. And that should give us an accurate reading for the computer on board to give you a good reading down to the inch mark.
So basically we're going to be calibrating it at 25 feet and seeing if indeed, physically, it will show 25 feet.
That is correct.
Okay.
Remove the right wheel.
Okay.
Behind that wheel is the distance sensor.
That's the sensor. Okay.
We're going to clean the sprocket that is on the wheel.
Because it's a proximity type of setup?
That's correct. It's a proximity sensor. So if there's paint covering the sprocket, the sensor won't read the sprocket tooth moving by.
Okay. Could the paint issue be on the sprocket or the sensor itself?
Could be both. So we're going to clean both.
Okay. So when you're looking at the sensor or the sensor sprocket and it's not covered in paint, or maybe it is, but you notice that it has physical damage, what do you do?
At that point, it would be also replace that distance sensor.
Okay. And then what?
Once we have cleaned the two, we want to inspect the wiring from that sensor.
Okay.
There is a possibility of damage to the wiring.
Okay.
So once we've checked that, we can reinstall that wheel on the frame. Then we want to follow that wiring underneath the frame where it actually connects to the wiring harness.
Okay.
That is the harness that runs from the front of the unit all the way up to the control board. Due to the fact that if a customer were to run over an object, we might have caught the wiring under the frame and damaged it there.
Okay. And then the damaged wiring, is that typically whether it's the wiring or the wiring harness? Or what is typically the fix there?
If the wiring is damaged, whether that be the wiring on the sensor or the wiring harness, it would entail replacing that component.
Well, Scott, thank you for taking the time today for Tech Tips.
Thank you, Paul.
For more information, please refer to the following.